Hello everybody, welcome for this new episode of the Bestiary of Terebia. And today I will talk to you about the differences between the Puritans and the Sheperds. In Terebia, these two organizations are very big institutions, especially in the northwest. But there is a lot of differences between them. They are both linked to the Scarecrow's order. So a Scarecrow order is an order who will protect the population against the danger of Terebia, especially magic danger. But they are also linked to Velebi. So it is a very influential god in Terebia, but the two are very different in their way, in the way uh, they build their religion around him. So I will show you this with some different points. So the relation with the races and the no-human races, the relation with the other regions, the relation with the world, with the nature, the form of deity as a religion, the relation with the war, and the relation with the other countries. There are other points, but I think these points are a good introduction to understand the differences between the two organizations. So I'll start to speak about the differences with the other races, and for that I will talk, for example, text. So it's both traditions made by the two orders, a different tradition of an ancient text. So for the Puritans, it said, "So, my son, spread my will among all the world, bring my peace to all of them, and then, when everybody will be able to know it, you will start your ascent to me." So this is for the Puritans. For the Shepherds, "So, my son, spread my will among all the world, give my peace to all of them, in my name or in another, and then, when everybody will know it, you will start your ascent to me." So in fact the texts are pretty similar, except for the shepherds, the "in my name" or "in another", and the "give my peace" uh, and the "bring my peace". But but the differences, a lot of differences are linked to that. So for the Puritans, "my son" means humans, because for them the humans are the best creation of Velebi. And so you can see a hierarchy. The humans are on the elves are on the dwarves are on the Manorats, and the Manorats are on the orcs. And it's a very in the Puritans organization there is a lot of discriminations and even racism, but in fact for them it's pretty logic. In fact, uh, for them the first prophet of Valebi was a human, and so the humans have to bring it, and the other creature are the other races are considered as less good. For the shepherds, the name "my son" want to say everybody or everything who or which is able to understand the message of Velebi. So in fact, for example, even if the five principal races of Terebia are humans, elves, dwarves, Manowat, and orcs, the shepherds consider themselves as equal, for example, for the dragon, for the giants, or for intelligent creature, which is considered as monster by the Puritans. And here you have to show that the pretty scale of the Puritans, which is supposed to show which creature is acceptable in the society and which is not. For the Puritans, it's a way to be sure that the human will be stay safe and stay safe and will assent to availability. For example, imagine if for example, the orcs, which are very discriminated in the Puritan society. For example, imagine they are linked to bad things. It will be a problem for the humans. In fact, it's a way to protect the humans from the others, for the influence of the others. The shepherds them see that as an horrible thing and thought that if they create all the different races, it's because all of them have a place to found in Terebia. And because of that, the Puritans have sanitizer, uh, so their duty is to be sure that each race stay at its place. So it's like an army. Yes, it's an army to be sure that all the other races stay under the control of the humans. Now, the relation with the other religions. For the Puritans, the term "bring my peace" have a very uh, have a sense very simple. In fact, for them, the message of Velebi is the peace. For them, the peace is equal to the message. So, if there is other religions, so religions which don't accept the message of Velebi, that means for them that they deserve war until they make a conversion. That brings the Puritans to be very aggressive with other religions and to make a lot of attack or crusades against them because the other religions are an heresy. For the shepherds, you have the sentence "in my name" or "in another." For them, if Velebi is the god who creates Terebia, it will be able to talk to every man or every else or every orcs on Terebia. And so, if there is also other regions, it's because, in fact, there will be found another language to another culture. So they will try to talk with other regions to find points, to be want to be friendly with other regions and to create peace around them. And as you can see, each region is a different language of Velebi because for them, the principal differences between the two religions, it was for the Puritans, the humans are the slaves of their gods, and for the shepherds, they are under his protection, but they are free to obey or not to him, and even the people who refuse the protection of Velebi can be helped in his name. Now I will talk to you about the relation with the world. For the Puritan, we have sentences about that. And so, my son, as far as you can see, is my kingdom, and you, my son, are the part of it which I love the most. Because of that, as far as you can see, is your kingdom. For the shepherd, it's and so, my son, as far as you can see, is my kingdom, and you, my son, are the part of which I love the most. Because of that, as far as you can see, is your kingdom. Love it as I trust in you. You are made with the same love. Find your place in that love. So the text for the shepherds it's a bit longer. The start is the same, but you can understand some differences between the two uh, between the two religions, and I will talk to that here. For the Puritans, the humans, because they are the best creation of VLB, need to dominate and control the world and all the territories. And for that, they used the sentence, as far as you can see is your kingdom. Because for them, you do whatever you want in a kingdom. For the shepherds, the people need to find a place in the world and not especially to control it. And sentences is love it as I trust in you. So it's another difference in the for the Puritans. It's the humans who need to trust in Velebi. For the shepherds, the trust need to be in the. In fact, for them, Velebi trust in the human, and the human need to trust in Velebi. And we are made with the same love. It seems that, for example, even if a human is, for example, more intelligent than that, for example, I don't know, us ladies, they are both a creation of Velebi, and so they both deserve a lot of respect. The difference due to this is that the Puritans generally, when they arrived in a new territories, want to control it. For example, if there is a beast around them, they will try to end them because they want to control everything. For the shepherds, they will more try to link with the local populations to live like them, like the things which are in the territories, and not to dominate the region. Now the form of deity. It's a bit complex for the shepherds, but very simple for the Puritans. For them, Velebi is outside, and it's not in the world; it's outside, and watch or change the world by prophets or disasters. And so you can't reach the gods, so you can't reach Velebi, except if he wants you to do it. For the shepherds, it's different. In fact, Velebi is everywhere, but you need to be able to understand and listening him. And in fact, they don't want people to. They don't especially want people to make a conversion for them. They want for the shepherds. They want people to be able to understand the message. But it's one problem of the shepherds. Their religion is very complex. In fact, it's have a lot of theological and philosophical uh, concepts in it, and the religion of the Puritans is very. It's easier to understand by a people who don't spend a lot of time to study. So it's why generally the shepherds will more show their message with actions and no with discussion because it's complex to explain but easy to understand in action. For the Puritans, it's very simple, in fact, to understand because of that. Now, the relation with the war. The Puritans see it as a way to promote their message because they are against the other religion, and if a culture is linked to another religion, they will be against that culture. So the Puritans have a reduced army, which make a massacre, and sometimes I don't know if talking about a genocide uh, could be exact, but the idea is here. They see For example, the ascent to the god as a purification and the suppression of everything which is not directly under the control of Velebi. For the shepherds, it's very different. For them, the religion can't help violence. The only exception is if you are attacked, you can defend yourself with weapon, but in a you can't attack and you can't avenge you. Mostly to stay in peace to show in every situation the message of Velebi. Because of that, the Puritans see a lot of shepherds like weak people. One of the great masters of Puritans had a sentence. He speak about the shepherds like stupid little girl. Well, but the shepherds have an army, so they have a secular army, and they use it to protect the population. For example, if a kingdom is weak and can't protect the population from bandits, the shepherds will bring uh, a part of their army to make it. But this army don't have to control territories. It's just have to protect the population. Now the relation with other countries. For the Puritans, it's important to have a control on territories to be sure that those territories will stay in the wrong way, in the good way. Sorry. And so they use their army for that also, because sometimes they fight with a kingdom or a state, for example. The shepherds then lay the control to the current government. It can be a problem, for example, if there is a kingdom very aggressive against the population with, for example, a cruel king or something like that, they will not especially go in war against them. And sometimes it's the population who claim the help. So it's a bit difficult for the Puritans them, and it's why sometimes they are seen as more efficient than the Puritans. They will see it as an occasion to promote their message, and so they will attack directly the kingdom. But after that, it will possibly be a very cruel leader also. For example, the Puritans have a death penalty by burning, hanging, or torturing for the heretics or traitors, but the shepherds, for them, don't see heretics, so it's there is no heresy for the shepherds, except in my conclusion I will say an heresy, for example, for the shepherds, but the traitors are not tortured. The execution when you will have execution will be very simple and quickly. Now, what are the principal differences between the Puritans and the Shepherds? In fact, the Puritans want to make happen the ascent to Velebi by their very quickly by their own way. So by the domination of the territories, by the intervention of their army. But for them, it's a good thing, because like that, it will help all the humanity and maybe all the races, because it will make the ascension to Velebi very fast, and so with less time in the trouble. For the shepherds, then, the ascension is more philosophical and theological way. For them, Velebi is already on Terebia, but They just have to make people understand their message, and for that they are less aggressive. They are not very aggressive. They want discussion over aggression, and if sometimes they can be inefficient, for example, in the context of war, they will have to protect themselves, and their little army will not be able to protect the population and the shepherds in the same time. Uh, they are considered in a lot of countries as a best thing than the Puritans. Another thing to know about it is that the Puritans are considered as extremists by a lot of other countries and other regions. And I told you about the shepherds of Valley, but you have to know that the shepherds can also be used to talk about moderate religion, moderate religions which wants to have a discussion. So you have shepherds of other religions, but you have Puritans only in the region of Valley, because the other extremists of other religions have other names. And the difference is, even if the shepherds have a little army, because they have a lot of allies, because all the moderate will be according that there are a best option on the Puritans. In fact, a lot of times the Puritans are alone against the other people. So you can tell me which group you like the most in the commentaries. I will be curious about that. You have to know also, even if you will be able to think that the Puritans are just cruel extremists, that they are sure that their action is good. In fact, the two groups are sure that their action is good for Terebia. So I hope you enjoy that video, and I see you later for another special episode. Bye!